So what exactly is breakout trading? And more importantly, how do we use breakout trading in the stock market to profit consistently in stocks, right? How do we make money from stock? How do we know when to enter and exit using breakout trading? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier MyZero trader in Philip Securities. And in this video, I would say the most important breakout trading video that you want to watch all the way to the end if you want to know how to use breakout trading to profit in the stock market. So in this video, we look at breakout trading, the basics, what exactly it is, and then of course, we look at some case studies as well that has happened over the past few months, some of those stocks that we have covered that has indeed shown cases, all right, or some really bullish price actions of breakout trading. And that's where I share with you why you want to think about entering, at which stage should you think about entering, and what will be your target and all that. And that's what we'll cover in the case studies as well after going through the fundamentals of breakout trading. So are you ready? You are, right? So make sure you hit the subscribe button, smash the like button as well. That will definitely help out the channel. And thank you so much for doing this. So let's talk about breakout trading, right? What is breakout trading? Is it like, if it breaks a certain level, particular price level, but what level is that actually, right? So let me just go into explain. So most of the time, right, a stock will be in what we call consolidation phase. So consolidation phase will be a price level, for example, a resistance level, whereby, let me just go to draw it for you right here, whereby we can see prices, kind of like touching that level, coming down, touching it, coming down. So it could be like a few months, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, up to a year, maybe up to 2 years. This is what we call a resistance level. This red line, here is what we call a horizontal resistance level. So it might just kind of like, consolidate up and down, up and down, up and down. It might just consolidate up and down below this resistance level. So this red line is what we call a horizontal resistance level, right? So we just can't get above that level. But if we do get above that level, right, then that could be a good thing. So it could be kind of like, as I mentioned, consolidating below this red line. A couple of weeks, could be like a week, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months, it could be 5 months, 1 year. But the longer it is, right, and the more times that it touches this level or nears it and hits back down, it shows that, well, this level is quite strong. I mean, that's where a lot of sellers are there. That's where you also want to think about taking some profit, because each time it goes back there, it comes back down. So you can also take some profit near there. So that's what we call a resistance level. All right. And we can also look at what we call a support level. So support level, let me just draw it for you, is what we call a price level, whereby it touches or it nears it and starts to rebound from it. So that's what we call a bit of a consolidation phase. All right. So where exactly does breakout trading comes in, right? So very simple, right? There are 2 ways we can look at it in terms of breakout trading. It could be a breakout to the upside, and that's a good thing. That's where you think about buying. All right. So it could be a breakout to the upside right here. So for example, it starts to reverse back up, and just by extending this red line right here, you can see that we break out to the upside right over here. So if it consolidates for like 3 weeks, a month, 1 year, touches many times, comes back down, but finally, all right, it breaks above that red line, the red horizontal resistance level, and it stays above it. Most importantly, you don't like break up and then 1-2 days later you come back down. Then of course it's not counted, right? You want to break above, you want to stay above, you want to see some pretty good price actions, candlestick volume as well. That is a good successful breakout to the upside, and that is where upside targets can be drawn to ride the upside. Does it make sense? Right? So that is kind of like an upside breakout, right? Whereby we can kind of like position ourselves to ride the upside and potentially profit, right, from the trend reversing as well. So now we're just talking about breakout, but of course you want to combine it with some other things like indicators about trend and all that. I'm not talking too much about that, but essentially if this happens at a phase whereby the trend is starting to turn up and we see this, great, all right, that's great. But of course if it's like in the downtrend and we see this, then still want to be a bit more careful, you wait for a bit more confirmation. But if like there are signs of the trend turning up and you see this, great. I think there's a very high chance of prices starting to push up, especially if it breaks up of this key resistance level, whereby it has touched like many times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and many times it touches and finally is able to get out of that resistance level. That can be a good thing, especially if the trend is turning up. What about the other way, right, whereby it breaks out but not to the upside but to the downside. Well, that can happen as well. So let me just go to draw it for you again. All right, so we have prices that goes like this. So for example, this new consolidation that I've drawn below right over here, all right, and you can see that it starts to consolidate, same thing, up and down, could be a few weeks, a few months, up to 1 or 2 years as well, all right, and suddenly, finally, right, so the trade down, and what happens, all right, it breaks this support level, the support level that's been holding many times, the support level that many times prices has gone near it or even touch it and it rebounds, but finally, it just gave way, all right over here, it just gave way. That is kind of like a breakout to the downside. Or you can also call it a breakdown of the support level. Then not so good, especially if this happens in a downtrend. All right, in a downtrend, if this breaks down, then you want to be careful as well. Or it could also happen somewhere near the peak. All right, prices might have gone up quite a fair bit over the past 2 years, and you see this right at the peak, and it breaks down the support, and especially if there are signs of the trend turning from up to down, right? Trend indicators turning down, and then you see this breakdown. That is where you want to be careful. We could potentially turn into what we call a downtrend, all right? Or we may already have been in the downtrend, all right? So that's called a breakout to the downside. So this is more for the downside. This is more for the upside. So it could be an uptrend as well. I mean, for this, it could be an uptrend. It could be a reversal from down to up. All right, but essentially, this is the first one right over here. That would be more towards the upwards direction. That's where you can think of buying. Whereas for the bottom one right here, all right, that is where you want to think about like getting out, especially if you're holding on to stocks like this. You see a breakdown, you want to be careful, or you want to think about maybe taking like short positions using CFD to ride the downside. That's what you can do to profit from the downside as well. All right, so this is pretty much what essentially is breakout trading. All right, we want to think about how to get in and position ourselves. But let's take a look at some case studies right now that shows cases of breakout trading, that some of the stocks that we've covered over the past few months and how it has played out for us. Let's go. All right, so let's take a look at this case study for this stock called Genting Sing. Right, Genting Sing, one of those stocks that we like in the Singapore market, and it was actually consolidating, for most part of 2021 and 2022 until we saw some signs of what we call a breakout trading, pretty much what we've covered just now, whereby it was consolidating. In this case, it's like not just 1 or 2 weeks or a few months, but it has been like almost 1 or 2 years, and we saw it broke above that key resistance level whereby the upside really started. So of course we kind of like alerted clients to it as well. We have got in on a few positions on this, and it has been pushing up and up and up. But let's not talk about like where we are right now, if you can go up somewhere and all that. But let's take a look at what it says in terms of breakout trading. Why did we even look at this stock? How do we put whatever we have covered just now into practice? So let's take a look at it right now. So you can see that this is Genting Sing, and we want to go ahead to draw what we call horizontal price level. So we want to draw that horizontal resistance level, that one that I just drawn just now. Remember the red line whereby many times it touches, it comes back down. So let me just draw it for you right there. That's the line, and you can see that that was like 0.85 level. Look at this, it nears it, it comes back down, it comes back down, nears it, comes back down, comes back down. So over the past like more than 1 or 2 years, right, we have been touching this 0.85 resistance level, and we just couldn't get above it, right? It was just a very firm level. It was just pretty much sellers were just stacked there, and it just comes back down. But it comes back down to where? Well, it comes back down like not all the way down, but it comes back down to a level, which is what we call a support, and buyers starts to come back, and buyers starts to bargain hard, right? So let me just go to draw that support level. I think right over here, somewhere near that 70 cents. Let me just put it in green in color, what I've shown you just now, right? So resistance level would be what we call a red line. Support level would be what we call a green line. So very simple. That is pretty much what has happened for Genting 6. So let me just go ahead to like show it to you. So it's swing down, swing up, swing down, swing up, swing down, swing up. Look at this right here, swing up, swing down. So based on the example that I've shown you just now, you can see that when I draw it, it's like, wow, really nice, right? It's like going up and down, it touches, comes back down, it goes up, come back down. But in actual case, a consolidation would not be so beautiful like this diagram right here. It might just go up a little bit and it might come back down, but in any case, it is just inside, all right, in between the red line and the green line, like what we're seeing in that case study, right? So but in this diagram, you can see it's really nice, it goes up and down, but that's not the case most of the time, all right? So you can see like Mac just go down a little bit and move back up, and then head down and then retest, or approach that buy zone, start to rebound back up. But essentially you can see that is the range that we have seen for Genting Sing as it consolidates from 70 cents to 85 cents. So where is that breakout trading that we just talked about, right? Where is this thing that happened, right for Genting Sing? Where did it happen? Right over here, right? In this diagram, it happened as it broke that key resistance level. So let's take a look at Genting to see where is that level. Look at this right over here, right? Let's just put this in green in color and just put it a bit thicker right over here. Does it make sense, guys? Is it the same? Does it look the same as what we have just drawn in the diagram? Yes, right? You can see 85 cents was this level we have touched about 3, 4, 5 times. We came back down, but somewhere around here, somewhere around like middle of November in 2022, we broke this level, right? As I mentioned, right, we broke this level. You want to stay above it, right? You don't want to like just go and break 85 and you go to like 87 or 88, and then the next few days you come back down to 83 or 82, and then that is not a good breakout, right? That is not a good trade in terms of the upside. You want to see it hang above that new resistance turn support level. So in this case, 85 level will be the resistance. We break above it, we stay above it, well, then this 85 will be what we call a new support level, right? And that's exactly what we saw, right? We stay above the 85, and that is where the upside really started. You can see swing down a little bit, be a profit taking, and the upside really started. This is what I call a really, really good upside breakout, right? In terms of upside breakout, in terms of the breakout trading to the upside, what we covered just now. That's where you can really ride the full potential, especially, right? So we just talk about breakout trading, but we talk about the trend and all that? No, right? So let's talk a little bit on the trend. As mentioned, that would be like another topic, but if this happens when there are signs of a trend continuing its uptrend, or signs of it turning from a downtrend or like a sideways trend to an uptrend, that would be a good thing. There will be like more factors pointing towards the upside. That's what we call a confluence of more factors. That's a good thing, right? So in this case for Genting Sing, you can see as it consolidates from 70 cents to 85, right? The trend was pretty much sideways, right? Just by looking at the two red and green lines, you can see it's just kind of like moving up and down, a bit of sideways. But by looking at the moving averages, right? Looking at the moving averages, you can see that right around here, all right, the lines, the moving averages lines were all kind of like crossing one another, moving sideways for like 1-2 years. But somewhere around here, just look down and you can see that what happens is that the moving averages right over here all started to turn up, right? That means the trend has kind of turned from sideways, from like flat, from like just crossing one another and pointing sideways to finally upwards direction, all starting to point. You can see the green line is pointing up, the red 100 days moving average line is pointing up, the blue 200 days moving average line is pointing up as this happened, as the breakout happened above 85 cents. So when we see this, that is a very, very good sign. I mean, it's more confirmation that is required, and we have it, all right, that shows that, well, this stock could potentially, play out in terms of a very, very good upside breakout trading strategy. All right, so this is Genting Sing, one of the stocks that we covered and started to push up quite a fair bit. And of course, you want to take steps to protect your profits as it goes up, to maximize your profits as the uptrend continues. All right, so let's take a look at another case study to see if we can find another what we call a breakout trading to the upside, or maybe even to the downside. All right, so let's take a look at one more case study for this stock called Food Empire that I've covered quite a few months back in some of my videos. Clients were related to it as well. All right, and let's take a look at this stock called Food Empire. So let's not talk about where we are right now. All right, well, let's just focus on this whole entire breakout trading. In this case, you can see it's more to the upside because we have surged up, right, after looking at it. But let's take a look at why this stock was even covered and how did we use or spotted that breakout trading. Right, so let's go ahead to draw. All right, this is what we call resistance level. So that is a key resistance level that I just draw it for you right here. That's the red line. Remember, the red line would be what we call a price level, whereby many times it touches, it comes back down. And a support level will be what we call a price level, whereby it kind of like hits down and then people start to buy and it rebounds from that level. So that is pretty much the consolidation phase, I would say, for Food Empire, pretty much from like 2022 for about 8 to 10 months. We were just doing this sideways consolidation, right? Up, down, swing up, swing down, swing up, right over here, right? So from like about that 45 cents towards that 55 to 58 cents That has been the range, all right? But where could we potentially, where had the breakout happened that we started to look at it? Well, we had our alert set, and somewhere around here, right? Somewhere around here, you can see that we started to break above that resistance level whereby we have been trading below for like 10 months, right around here, right around here. You can see we broke that 55 cents to 57 cents resistance. This was pretty much the high that we have seen somewhere here. So we kind of like broke it. You can see many times we neared this resistance level, and we just sort of finally, right around here, we broke out and we stayed above, right, that new resistance turned support level. So we started to break out, all right, very good move up, even that 60 cents. So we could also like kind of like shift this up a little bit if you want, all right, just to give it a little bit of leeway. 60 cents could be what we call a psychological resistance level as well. And you can see it started to consolidate, right, consolidate. So it stayed above that resistance level. It don't like come back down. As I mentioned, you break out, great, but you want to stay above it. You want to like hang above it for a few days. You want to see some good bullish candles, price actions. I'll not talk about that, but essentially you want to just hang above that level, all right? Of course, with some good volume as well, right? That is a sign of a breakout trading being successful, all right? And that's where you could time your entry to get into right that reverse. And of course, price started to push up, consolidate a little bit, push up, be a profit taking, swing up, profit taking, and we have started to push up. So this was a really, really strong, I would say, very good trade setup in terms of the breakout trading. And let's take a look at the trend as well. So let's look at the moving averages. You can see that as it consolidates, the moving averages were in fact kind of like pointing down a little bit. In 2022, it was pointing down. But as this happened, right, as the breakout trading happened to the upside, take a look at the moving averages right around here. You can see that that was where the red line, the 100 days moving average, started to cross up. Let me just zoom it for you right over here. Look at this, right? The red line, the 100 days moving average, started to cross up above the blue line, the 200 days moving average, which is a good thing. That can show signs of the trend turning up in the mid to long term. And of course, the green line is the 20 days moving average. The short term is still pointing up very firmly. All right, started to flatten a bit as it consolidates, but it starts to move up. All right, so the moving averages were all starting to point up as this breakout trading to the upside happened, all right, and that could all point to more strength. That's where more upside momentum can come back, and that's exactly what we saw all the way to where we are right now. All right, so this is a pretty good, I would say, breakout trading that we spotted, and we kind of rode it, and yeah, clients related to it as well. All right, so let's take a look at maybe another breakout to the downside and why you want to be careful. You see a breakdown, especially if you're holding on to this stock. All right, so now that we have covered in terms of a breakout to the upside, let's see if you can find any case study that can cover this right here. That means a breakout to the downside. It could be in the downtrend, or it could be a case whereby it has been in an uptrend and we are starting to see a reversal back down, but essentially we break this key support level right over here. So let me just share with you one case study right here, or one of those stocks that we covered previously as well. All right, and it was looking good, right? Started to push up, started to see a bit of consolidation, and unfortunately a breakdown to the downside happened. So let me just draw what we call the horizontal support level for you. So this is what we call a sideways consolidation. All right, it was kind of like consolidating sideways. I just push up, pretty good uptrend actually, as it started to push up from like 105, 11 cents all the way to like 15 cents. And we saw this consolidations, move up, move down, up, swing down, swing up, swing down, swing up. All right, and this was the consolidation phase from about 0.130 to 0.150, about a 2 cents range, right? So it might just consolidate from here, up and down, right? It could be a few months, it could be 1 or 2 years, right? But essentially for this case, it happened for about 3 to 4 months. And what happens was it broke down, right? So let me just draw it for you right here. It broke down this support level whereby it has rebounded from a couple of times, 1, 2, 3 times that it's rebounded. You can see right over here, we saw the breakdown, right? The breakdown. So a support level being broken down, especially if the trend is starting to turn down. That would be some sign of weakness. And if you see this, that's where you want to reduce some exposure, because we could potentially see more selling, especially if it breaks down and stays below that support level. So as mentioned, right, 0.130, you can see was a pretty good support level, right, that we have kind of like, you know, supported or rebounded above a couple of times, but somehow we just broke down. So as it breaks down, it stays below that new kind of resistance level, because that support has broken. It will turn to what we call resistance. We stay below it. That's why we want to be careful. That's where potentially more selling can happen all the way down, right over here, like what we are seeing right now, right? So that is what we call a breakdown to the downside. So let's take a look at the trend as well in terms of this breakdown. When it happened, you can see that as it broke down, there were some signs of the trend turning down in terms of the short term as well. So longer term, of course, you know, it might just go back down a little bit, and then buyers might come back and bargain hard, you might start to rebound again. But in the short term, it didn't look that good as well, because look at this right here, the 20 days moving average line. It was like moving up, flattening out sideways, and started to point down as this breakdown actually happened. So if the 20 days moving average line is pointing down, look at this, just slope down, and prices below it as this happened, not a good thing. It shows that the trend could potentially have turned down, and of course now it's turning down, plus we see a breakdown to the downside of this key support level. That is where you want to be careful. That's where you want to reduce some exposure or get out, or maybe think about, you know, taking short positions to ride the downside. Does it make sense? All right, so this is what we call a breakdown to the downside. Like what we see over here is not so good. It's more to more for weakness, right? More to profit from the downside, or to get out if you're still holding on to stocks like this. All right, so that is the case study, right? So yes, guys, I think I've pretty much covered a quick introduction of breakout trading, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. I hope you have now a clearer picture of what is breakout trading, how do you know how to spot it, what do you want to do with it, whether is it to the upside or downside, and I hope you are clearer on what to actually look out for. All right, so I hope you like this video, guys. If you like this video, guys, go ahead to smash the like button. That will definitely help out the channel. Of course, hit the subscribe button as well, right, so that you will not miss out on videos like this, and hit the subscribe button. That will really help out the channel. All right, so Joey here, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to find out about some of those ideas, in fact some of those case studies that we covered in terms of like Genting Sing, some of those that really saw a really good move as it break out to the upside in terms of breakout trading. All right, we did share some of those stock ideas to clients of mine in Philip Securities. So if you're not yet a client of mine in Philip Securities, make sure you click on the link around this video. I'll just put the link below this video. Find a bit more on how you can get some of these ideas by WhatsApp daily for free. All right, especially if you are trading, you're probably trading somewhere online, right? Whether it's a broker or online broker or whatever. If you're not getting any service, no ideas, no WhatsApp, no training, nobody contacting you, nothing, then you definitely want to come over as a client of mine, Philip, to get some of those ideas much faster and some of those more exclusive training as well. All right, so Joey here, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to see you in the next video. Take care.